Talk Shoes.
Recorded live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 2017 Tag Team Top 50 Mid-Year Update. This is the only update you're going to get before the end of the year. So those of you that are familiar with the Indy Power Rankings, you'll know that, at the end of the year, we'll have our top 50 list of independent tag teams in professional wrestling for the year based on the criteria that we use to vote. Get into that a little bit with you. First of all, my name's Travis. I am your on and off again host for the Indy Power Rankings. Obviously, I am on again, which I'm excited to be back. It's been a while since I actually had a wrestling podcast, with the exception of the Chris Benoit podcast we did on Travis and Vic's Drunken Horror Adventures with Brittany Wonder, Congo Kong, Thomas Brewington of the Indy Card Mafia, and some other Zodiac last Tuesday. But it's Tag Team Top 50 time. And, okay, so basically, here's the deal. It's a collection of 50 of independent wrestling tag teams based on their previous rankings throughout the half year to date. So the rankings in the Tag Team Top 50 are 100% based on, where these tag teams have been ranked in the Indy Power Rankings Tag Team Top 5 throughout the year. And this isn't my opinion. It's not the opinion of the voters of who the best tag teams or quote-unquote workers are in the world right now, based on who we think had the best matches or anything like that. No, it's a list of names, it's not a list of names that we sat down and collected, at the mid-year and said, these are the guys right now. Actually, it's a mathematical compilation of how well these tag teams have done this year, based on their rankings throughout the year, and the three major criteria that we use to rank wrestlers on a weekly basis, or tag teams in this case. So, the first thing is the win-loss record for the week and, overall. The second thing is the strength of opponents for the week. And then the third thing is the overall public perception of the wrestler or tag team in question. Let me give you an example, an easy example at that. The Young Bucks, they have a stronger following than, say, a regional independent tag team who most people have never heard of, not to knock some of the teams in there, but let's just throw out an example. The Young Bucks are known nationwide, and then you have a regional tag team. Well, I don't mean anything by this, but let's say Hot Chocolate, Myron Reed, and Sugar Dunkerton, despite the fact that they had a good year, and we'll get into a ranking for them in a little bit. They primarily teamed, and I don't know if they teamed anywhere else, in IWA Mid-South, had success there, but a team like the Young Bucks are known nationally. Not that IWA Mid-South doesn't have Smart Mark and, people supporting them, knowing who they are, but in a way, they're a regional tag team. They might expand, become a national tag team, and become a bigger name, but you get my point. The Young Bucks have more star power than some of the other teams on the list. So when they're getting ranked, for one win at PWG, and I'm just throwing out an example, versus a team who maybe won 2 wins at, SPW in Tennessee, then it carries a little bit more weight with the voters, and I think that helps them in the week-to-week voting. But that being said, I think it's time to go ahead and get into the official rankings now for the top 50. First off, you've got Catch Point at number 50, and there are a couple of Catch Point tag teams, but this one consists of Fred Yehi and Tracy Williams. Honestly, if you had asked me about them at the start of the year, I would think that they would be the team that would be the highest in the rankings. But you may see the other team a little higher up than them even. But they're sitting at number 50 right now. They had one number 4 ranking and 2 honorable mentions this year. They're going to need to build on that. They really are, because they're slipping right now. They're sitting down at number 50. They're going to have to do something to either move up or just keep themselves in the Tag Team Top 50 by the end of the year. So that's highly important going forward if they care about their ranking, which, they may not, but we do. So people that support them, that's just something to think about. All right, so number 49, we head over to Big Japan for some violent deathmatch wrestling. It's Abdullah Kobayashi and Ryuji Ito. Hell of a tag team, hell of a deathmatch squad they got here. And, this tells you that I feel like, and this is no knock on the competitors or the tag teams here, but the tag team field is a little thin right now. There's a lot of teams getting ranks that you wouldn't expect, and Abdullah Kobayashi and Ryoji Ito only had one ranking this year, and it was the number 3 ranking, but that was enough to get them into the midway point of the tag team top 50. Again, if they don't do something further, there's a pretty good chance that they'll fall out, but, for now, you got to take them seriously. So number 48 is the Cannon Clan, which is Bobby Collins and Jacob Creed. That they had a number 3 ranking and an honorable mention, so they obviously slightly edge out Kobayashi and Ito there. So the Cannon Clan, that's another one that had a couple weeks of success. Can they turn it into more? It's really going to depend. Our number 47 is one that I do not expect to see back, but you just never know how independent wrestling turns out. Things get weird, people get released, whatever happens there. So our number 47 is actually Queen's Quest, which is Io Shirai and HZK. I probably butchered Io's name. Santana Garrett said it for me once upon a time. I mean, and you'd think it would have sunk in, but it's Santana Garrett, so it just kind of, we just listened to Santana Garrett. Let's admit it here, but no, they had just like the Cannon Clan, and they beat them in a tiebreaker. They had a number 3 ranking and an honorable mention, but that was enough to get them to the number 47 spot. I just think that's one that I would expect to fall out before the end of the year. And giving a little Cliff Notes as we go here, hopefully that adds a little entertainment to the rankings for you all, so you're not just sitting there saying, all right, this guy's just rattling off names and rankings here. But yeah. I honestly don't expect them in the second half of the year, but, we'll see because, stranger things have happened. So number 46 now, Omega Virus, or the Omega Virus, however you prefer. This is a team who's had one number 4 ranking and 3 honorable mentions. They are consistently on the poll. Now, they haven't had the big breakthrough with a high ranking yet. Number 4 is obviously nothing to sneeze at, but, we only do write-ups for the first 2 teams, and then the other 3 they get put on there, but they don't get a full write-up as to what they did. If you ever want to see that, you can just look on the poll for that week. So Omega Virus, they've got some work to do, but with as consistent as they've been, I would expect them to either move up or at least stay in the tag team top 50. My guess is move up, though, because there's some teams in here that I don't expect to team again. So look out for them, for sure. All right, number 45, and if you're a WWE fan or specifically a WWE UK fan, this team comes as no surprise to you, and they may have teamed on one of their house shows. I don't believe they've teamed on TV yet, but I'll bring it up again. This is what I'm talking about when you never know what's going to happen, with these teams. What to expect going forward. But Mustache Mountain is our number 45. Trent Seven and Tyler Bate. You wouldn't expect them to be in the tag team top 50 because of their commitments elsewhere, but think about it. They've done many things with the WWE UK or on behalf of them, but in other promotions, and those actually count towards the Indy Power Rankings. In that. Let's say when Tyler Bate was WWE UK champ, if he defended that title on another promotion, it actually counts towards our rankings. Same deal in the tag teams. Mustache Mountain, they may work in WWE, NXT, etc., but if they work in another place that's we deem, an Indy, which is a lot of places out in Europe, because I don't think that there's anybody that we don't include. So those wins, they fall into these rankings. They had one number 3 ranking and 1 honorable mention. That was enough to get them to the number 45 spot, and that was another tiebreaker there. So they edged out the other teams. Now here's a team that's interesting, and it's not. I don't expect them to be back, but if they were, it would be pretty incredible. But this is a team. If we're talking like 98, 99, this team would have been awesome. Now, I'm not going to say they're over the hill, maybe past their prime, but, I mean, both of them, whenever they go out there, people have been saying they put on good performances, but it's interesting to see them as a team, and they kind of make sense. It's like a natural pairing. Believe it or not, our number 44 this year, and, midway point, so things can change, Billy Gunn and Buff Bagwell. No kidding, not making that up. It's just the truth. Billy Gunn and Buff Bagwell, they're sitting there at number 44. They had 1 number 3 ranking, 1 honorable mention. And, they're just like Mustache Mountain. They could fall completely out, which I think they will, or they may team some more and do some more. So pretty impressive to see them as high up as they are. I mean, when you're thinking about some of the teams that are in there. So yeah, there's that. All right, moving on to number 43. It's the Four Nations, Jack Bonza and Mick Moretti. They had one number 2 ranking, and that was enough to get them into the number 43 spot. So we'll see if they can continue that success. Number 42, this is a team that our buddy Jer in the Carolinas will attest to. They're related to Scott. It's Zane and Dave Dawson, the Dawson brothers. They've been tearing it up lately. They've had one number 3 ranking and 2 honorable mentions. So can't count them out. I think that they'll make a run, assuming they don't get signed by the end of the year. That's always one of those factors that could, play a part in this whole thing. All right, number 41, Project Lucha, El Ligero and Martin Kirby. This is a team that we've kind of seen before in the rankings in the past, and still doing good things. They had a number 1 ranking, and of course they get the tiebreaker just barely over the Dawson brothers. So number 41, Project Lucha. And you can see them in the UK together. All right, so number 40, it is Ohio is for Killers, Jake and Dave Christ. They've had, by the way, again, let me just reiterate, they're an awesome tag team. If we're talking best tag teams on the Indies, just as far as what we feel are great, they'd be in the top 10. But, keep in mind, Dave did a lot of singles this year, so did Jake. They haven't teamed as much as you would expect, but they're doing their own thing right now. I mean, things evolve and change over time, and those two are perfect proof of that. So OI4K, they had one number 3 ranking, 2 honorable mentions to get in at number 40. So, not terrible. And if they continue to team, consistently being the key word, we may see them move up. I got to put some faith in them. No matter what they're doing, even if they're feuding in IWA or wherever they may feud, I still think they're going to move up. I think there's enough promotions that are willing to put those two together to make it happen. All right, so our number 39 team, it's Le Tabernacle des Teams. It's Matthew St. Jacques and Thomas Dubois. They had one number 2 ranking, and they did just enough to get the tiebreaker there. This is a tag team that we've been seeing a lot on the Indies over the last few years, specifically in Canada. I'm not going to sit here and act like they've been touring the world, but in Canada, they're a pretty impressive tag team, and somehow or another, they've just kind of been overlooked by the voters, but maybe not this time around. If they can continue on getting ranked, picking up wins, you may see them again in the rankings, and that's the thing here. And that's how you stay in the tag team top 50 or move up even. All right, number 38, and this is one that I'm just ultimately not too familiar with, but they did get a number 2 ranking one week. It's Kazusada Higuchi and Yoshihisa Udo. So this is a team, again, that got a number 2 ranking. That was enough for now to get them in the tag team top 50, but if they don't build on that, there's pretty good chance they'll fall out, much like our number 37 team may do, which is Chip Day and Priscilla Kelly. They had also a number 2 ranking at one point this year, and they'll need to continue to team or team again in order to stay in or move up. I want to make a point here. We're going to have some tag teams calling, so if you tuned in, you're just hearing me talking, and you're like, usually you guys have guests. We're supposed to. There's supposed to be people calling. I didn't completely fill up the slots here with guests, but there will be – I have 3 tag teams on the agenda, so – or at least one half of 3 tag teams. So we'll see who calls. We'll see who, makes it. It's always tough to coordinate these things, especially this show originally is airing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Time on TalkShoe, and then it'll be uploaded to Filling the Void Radio Network Filling the Void Podcasting Network now. It's changed on Spreaker. Spreaker.com is where you can find it. Anyway. So up to the number 36 spot now. We've got Bacon and Eggs. Yes, Bacon and Eggs. That's their tag team name. Ace Montana and Pork Chop Johnson, and they get in on the same strength of a number 2 ranking once upon a time this year. Again, just like everybody else, they need to do more to stay in here because one ranking is easy to topple. I mean, all it would take is for somebody to get a number 1 ranking, and those number 2s all get pushed down one. So just, kind of an inside look at what we do. All right, so the number 35 tag team, and this is a team that you maybe wouldn't expect because, let's be honest, they don't team a lot anymore. They're doing their own singles thing. Davey specifically, he's busy with his stuff, and he's, coming off an injury.